The fatal shootings of Renee Nicole Good and Alex Pretti by ICE agents, and the way the Trump administration has smeared their names, refused to investigate the agents responsible, and instead defended them largely. That news has broken out beyond just normal political spaces and brought politics really front and center in all sorts of non-political spaces. And this, to me, is always a tell. I mean, take, for instance, the page on the website Reddit called r/catbongos. This is a real thing. Lots of people on this page. That subreddit bills itself as, quote, what it sounds like. A forum where people gather to watch cats being played like bongos. Who knew there was such a page? Now we all know. Normally, it is not particularly political, to state the obvious. But this weekend, a moderator posted this, quote, if you still support Trump, ICE even slightly, you're not welcome in this sub, meaning in this subreddit forum. We are reaching a point where we can no longer tolerate the people who are supporting or making excuses for this or have them be a part of our lives. Posts critical of ICE or critical of Alex Pretti's killing have gone viral in online communities devoted to things like biking and baseball and the Lord of the Rings. Yes, if you're a fan out there, people who are on the page that is dedicated primarily to Frodo Baggins, Gandalf, and Gollum are talking about ICE raids right now, and they're disgusted by them.
What's up, everybody? Major retired Richard Ojeda here, and the country's outrage over Trump's government overreach and ICE killings of innocent Americans on the city streets of Minneapolis has sent thousands upon thousands of Americans into the streets to protest. Kristi Noem's ICE has turned suburban neighborhoods into war zones, labeled innocent victims as domestic terrorists, and tried to claim immunity for these agents of destruction wearing masks and prowling our streets with wartime weapons.
Yesterday, one of the biggest stars in the NBA, one of the biggest, San Antonio Spurs center Victor Wembanyama, came out of practice and said this to the press.
PR has tried, but I'm not going to sit here and give some politically correct, I know, every day I wake up and see the news and I'm horrified. I think that it's crazy that some people might make it seem like, or make it sound like it's acceptable. The murder of civilians is acceptable,
This hellscape is the design of psychopaths like Stephen Miller and perpetuated by sycophants in power. But this moment is different. It has lit a fire under the people of this country. There's been a rallying cry like we've never seen before. This entire nightmare scenario has sparked international concern and outrage. And it has people questioning what's going on in typically apolitical spaces, places where politics was never supposed to live. And that's how we arrive at this moment.
Do you remember how big of a deal it was when comedian, podcaster Andrew Schultz interviewed Trump in the lead up to the 2024 election? It was seen as Trump reaching through to a giant manosphere audience no one on the Democratic side could reach and just charming their pants off. Since then, Schultz has been having, buyer's remorse.
Let's talk about what happened in Minneapolis. ICE murdered an American citizen in cold blood, and then the Trump administration called him a domestic terrorist.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like, plain and simple.
Yeah.
I see the administration trying to spin it, and it's disgusting.
This place in time, watching our democracy spiral out of control at the hands of brutality and cruelty, has dragged politics straight into the world of sports, a space where politics has always been treated as taboo. Michael Jordan once famously said, Republicans buy sneakers too. For decades, that mindset shaped professional sports. Stay neutral, don't offend anybody. We all saw the outrage when Colin Kaepernick knelt. Athletes rarely broke the silence, and when NBA players wore I Can't Breathe shirts, stood in silent solidarity after the killing of George Floyd, or spoke out against injustice, conservatives erupted. They threatened boycotts. They swore they'd never buy another ticket, never watch another game, never buy another jersey, all while billionaire owners like Robert Kraft openly supported Donald Trump and donated huge sums of money without facing any backlash at all. Presidents have always been mocked by comedians, not by athletes questioning their own safety. And that's the shift we're witnessing now, because the question being raised isn't about politics anymore. It's about survival. It's about what it feels like for an NBA superstar known as Wemby, who happens to be a foreigner, to to exist in an oppressive and violent society, and whether it's even safe to continue playing in the United States. Will ISIS cruelty and state violence drive international talent away from the American dream? Judging by where this conversation is taking place tells us that this is not normal and yet can no longer be ignored. The San Antonio Spurs have long been one of the most internationally minded franchises in professional sports. Under Coach Popovich, a 5-time NBA champion, Hall of Famer, and the winningest coach in league history, the Spurs built a dynasty by embracing global talent. Players like Tony Parker and now the generational phenom known as Wemby. Recently, the NBA Players Association acknowledged that what's happening in this country can no longer be ignored, and that if players feel compelled to speak, they have every right to do so. And almost immediately, the spotlight fell on a 7'4" international superstar known as Wemby. Wemby is widely regarded as the future face of the NBA. His skill level is so unprecedented that broadcaster Stan Van Gundy jokingly referred to him as an alien. But in today's political climate, that joke took on a darker meaning when Van Gundy added, "They deport those."
Did you know that the big wireless carriers like Verizon and AT&T made over $18 billion in profit last year? How? By overcharging you for unlimited data, most of which you probably aren't even using. But what if you could get paid to use your phone less and only pay for the data you do use? Well, with Noble Mobile, you can. For just $50 a month on their No Bull plan, you get unlimited data, and whatever data you don't use, you get cash back right in your pocket. People who switch to Noble can save an average of $500 to $1,000 a year. It's a no-brainer. And by switching to Noble, you're directly supporting TYT and our mission of bringing you honest, independent news. So give Noble a try and make the switch today. Scan the QR code on the screen now or visit go.tyt.com/plan. That's go.tyt.com/plan.
So the question becomes unavoidable. Is it even safe for foreign international talent to play in America anymore? And if the answer is no, if the risk is being targeted, silenced, or punished is too high, what does that mean for the future of the NBA and American sports, and for a country that once sold itself as the world's destination for greatness? That same sentiment is being echoed across platforms and spaces where you never would have expected to see it before. Sports arenas, comedy podcasts, international stages. And it shouldn't come as a surprise that it's even coming from people who once supported Donald Trump. Take comedian Andrew Schultz, for example. He voted for Trump. He was openly supportive, and now he says flat out, "I didn't vote for any of this." He says he feels hoodwinked. That's what's happening now. The brutality, the lies, the spin is disgusting. And that's the point. This isn't just coming from the left. This is coming from people who wanted the Epstein files released, wanted grocery prices to go down, wanted wars to end, and instead are watching a psychopathic regime spiral into cruelty and chaos. This is our time to rise up and have our voices heard. Check in with your local organizers to find out more about the No Kings protests scheduled for March 28th this year, because sitting this one out is no longer an option. And the truth is simple. The government's not coming to save us. If this country's going to be saved, we're going to have to do it ourselves. And that is an absolute fact. Sappers clear the way, airborne all the way.